After years of service exploring the frontier of known space, Enterprise NX-01, under the command of Captain Jonathan Archer, was ready for a major upgrade. The planned refit would expand its range, strengthen its defenses, and prepare the ship for the challenges of an evolving galaxy. If you've seen our earlier video covering the original NX-01, this next chapter builds on that foundation, exploring the upgrades and changes that would take the ship into a new era. You can find the link to the previous video in the description below if you'd like to catch up. The most noticeable change was the addition of a secondary hull, something the original NX-01 never had. This new hull improved warp field stability, expanded critical systems, and introduced several new decks dedicated to engineering, tactical operations, and deep space support, capabilities not present in the initial design. Other upgrades included a more efficient Warp 7 engine, early shield technology, photonic torpedoes, and expanded internal infrastructure, transforming NX-01 from an experimental explorer into a fully capable flagship. The NX-01 Refit kept the same size as the original ship, about 225 meters long, or 738 feet, and 135 meters wide, roughly 443 feet. In comparison, the USS Enterprise NCC-1701A was significantly larger, measuring 305 meters, or just over 1,000 feet in length. Even though the NX-01 was smaller, it served as the missing link between Earth's earliest warp ships and the larger, more advanced starships of the Federation. Although this version of NX-01 was never seen on screen, surviving blueprints and concept art offer a clear glimpse of what Enterprise NX-01 could have become, a symbol of humanity's bold first steps toward building a united future among the stars. Atop the saucer section, the bridge of Enterprise NX-01 functions as the ship's central command hub. Circular in layout, it places the captain's chair at the center, facing the main view screen. Ahead is the helm station, responsible for warp, impulse, and navigational control. It also operates maneuvering thrusters and maintains direct coordination with main engineering. To port are the Science and Communication Stations. Science oversees sensor data and interfaces with the library computer, while Communications handles transmissions and the ship's universal translator. On the starboard side, Tactical manages weapons, grapplers, and targeting systems, while Engineering monitors real-time diagnostics and ship-wide power distribution. Directly aft is the Situation Room, equipped with status displays, a multifunction console, and a small head.
Why would they scan for alien ships?
It should be standard procedure, that's why. In any event, there it is.
There what is?
A vessel, not Vulcan, and it's less than 1 kilometer from our shuttle pod.
Not a lot of room on that landing platform. Maybe they're just some other visitors.
To the side, a turbolift and vertical ladder provide access to lower decks, and the captain's ready room offers a nearby space for briefings, reports, and private meetings. Supporting the NX-01's primary mission of exploration, Deck 2 is home to advanced scientific facilities and core ship systems. Several research labs occupy the deck, including stellar cartography and cosmology suites, with a weapons locker and a refueling bay airlock for hazardous equipment access. A central corridor encircles the ship's vertically integrated computer core and is flanked by a deuterium fill port connection and deuterium storage tanks on either side. At the fore, the deck houses twin EVA airlocks and water storage tanks supplementing the life support system. Toward the aft, 2 first-stage plasma accelerators and secondary science labs support propulsion and analysis operations. Aft dorsal phaser cannons provide limited high-angle defensive coverage. Deck 3 integrates mission-critical systems with facilities that support both operations and crew well-being. Along both port and starboard sides are the dorsal cargo bays, warp control processors, deuterium pumping and conditioning units, and a dedicated science lab used for mid-mission analysis and support. Centrally located is the main computer core, accompanied by the computer library, fabrication shop, and surrounding system interfaces used for diagnostics, manufacturing, and data access. At the forward section of the deck sits the recreation and fitness area, featuring a gym, exercise rooms, and integrated water storage tanks to support both physical health and environmental systems. Additional infrastructure includes the first stage plasma accelerator, EPS power taps, warp plasma transfer conduits, and inert waste matter holding tanks, all vital to maintaining efficient energy flow and long-term vessel operation. At the front of Deck 4 are the main water storage tanks, which support the ship's environmental and life support systems. Junior officers' quarters are located along the outer rim, offering expansive views of space, while the enlisted crew quarters are situated closer to the ship's interior, allowing easy access to central facilities and service areas. Along the starboard side are the cargo bays, a cargo transfer shaft, transporter bay 1, and a second-stage plasma accelerator, which supports warp plasma routing. In the aft section is the command center, an auxiliary operations hub for mission planning and coordination, positioned next to the main observation room, which provides a clear rear-facing view of space and external ship activity. Central to Deck 4 is the secondary engineering section, where several critical systems converge. Dominating this area is the upper assembly of the Warp 5 engine core, part of the gravimetric field displacement manifold, a groundbreaking propulsion system that allows sustained high warp travel. This section includes both the deuterium and antimatter injectors, responsible for fueling the warp reaction and regulating energy balance within the core. Nearby is the distribution manifold, which regulates energy and plasma flow to critical systems throughout the ship. Deck 5 serves as the heart of life aboard the vessel, combining medical support, living space, and mission-critical infrastructure. At the center of the deck is the sick bay and medical laboratories, reinforced and fully equipped for diagnostics, trauma care, and biological research. A ring of biobeds surrounds the main chamber, each supported by advanced scanning systems for monitoring a wide range of conditions. Encircling the medical section is a broad band of crew quarters, designed for comfort and extended deployment. Integrated into this structure are 30 escape pods, positioned for rapid emergency evacuation when needed. Toward the forward section, just beneath the hull, lies the navigational deflector array, a vital system for high warp travel. Flanking it are the senior officer quarters, Captain Archer's suite on the forward starboard side, and the chief engineer's quarters on the forward port. Both are outfitted with private amenities and system access terminals. Directly aft of the crew quarters are the mess hall and galley, supported by cryogenic food storage and hydroponic greenhouses that supply fresh produce for long-duration missions. Below the deck level is the main shuttle pod launch bay, which facilitates away missions and orbital operations. Adjacent compartments include the warp plasma coolant tank, inspection pod bay, and the main battery room, supporting power and maintenance operations. Accessible from this deck, the warp coils and bussard collectors, located farther back along the nacelles, enable warp field generation and collect interstellar hydrogen, both essential for sustained warp travel. Located on the port side are the laundry facilities, barber shop, enlisted crew quarters, and additional officers' quarters. Deck 6 is the tactical core of the NX-01 Refit, supporting defense, security, and combat operations. It houses 4 armory rooms, 2 located forward and 2 aft, all outfitted with tubes capable of launching either spatial or photonic torpedoes. The forward armory also features a dedicated weapons control console, allowing direct access to targeting, arming, and launch coordination during combat operations. Additional facilities include a torpedo storage bay, the main weapons locker, and an exterior warhead loading hatch. The main weapons locker and an exterior warhead loading hatch used to safely transfer ordnance for maintenance or deployment. The aft section features a fortified brig and monitoring systems that provide safe containment and diagnostics for volatile materials. A portion of this deck is reserved for the Mako detachment, including a ready room, briefing area, training space, and operations center for rapid deployment and shipboard security. At the very rear, the landing bay control booth oversees all operations involving the outer launch bay doors. This area also includes vital antimatter infrastructure, the lower observation deck, and the primary refit hull umbilical connection point, supporting external servicing, visual monitoring, and shipyard interface during upgrades or docking procedures. Deck 7 is dedicated to diplomatic engagement and long-range planetary scanning. It regularly accommodates visiting dignitaries, Federation representatives, and allied guests during high-level missions. Located at the rear of the deck are the Ambassador Suite and the Ambassadorial Conference Room, both additions introduced during the ship's refit to support formal negotiations and high-profile meetings. The deck includes 2 guest suites, positioned at the forward and aft ends, each designed with interspecies comfort in mind. These quarters feature private bathing facilities, independent atmospheric processors, and self-contained dining areas, providing flexibility for a wide range of environmental and dietary needs. At the center is the Planetary Sensor Array, a key system used for high-resolution analysis of planetary surfaces and atmospheres. Surrounding the array are equipment lockers and a sensor monitoring bay, where incoming data is calibrated, processed, and relayed to command. Along the port and starboard sides are diplomatic support offices, which serve as functional spaces for diplomatic aides and mission staff equipped for administration and real-time coordination with visiting delegations. Deck 8 supports critical ship functions while also providing accommodations for enlisted crew members. At the rear, Deck 8 houses the Warp Field Governor, a critical system used to stabilize and fine-tune the warp bubble during faster-than-light travel. This area also includes emergency plasma venting systems, allowing rapid dispersal of plasma buildup in case of system malfunctions or warp core anomalies. Moving aft, the enlisted crew barracks occupy the forward section, offering compact but functional sleeping quarters for the ship's enlisted personnel. Adjacent to the barracks is the enlisted crew lounge. Midway through the deck are several large deuterium tanks, essential for fueling the warp drive. These tanks dominate much of the deck structure. At the front of the deck is the turbolift access point, serving as the main transit connection to the upper decks. At the front of Deck 9 is the forward sensor array, supporting long-range scanning and navigation. Further back are the deuterium tanks, supplying fuel for the warp drive, along with the deuterium control room and deuterium pumps managing distribution. In the center of the deck is the warp plasma manifold and warp plasma control systems, regulating plasma flow throughout the ship. Toward the rear is the warp field governor, stabilizing the ship's warp bubble during faster-than-light travel. Running aft is the warp plasma conduit, delivering plasma to the nacelles, and at the very end is the aft airlock for external access and maintenance. At the front is the forward sensor array for long-range scanning, followed by the machine and fabrication shop for repairs and construction. Next are the deuterium preburner and magnetic quench block, regulating fuel for warp drive systems. Mid-deck contains the main EPS manifold for power distribution and the aft side airlock for external access. At the center is the second level of main engineering with the gravimetric field displacement manifold for warp field generation. Adjacent is the warp field theory lab for real-time warp diagnostics. This core structure is a key part of the Warp 7 engine, enabling faster and more stable warp travel compared to earlier designs. The manifold maintains warp field geometry and controls the formation of the ship's warp bubble at high velocities. Toward the rear are the coolant manifold, warp field governor magnetic constrictors, and the tractor beam control room managing ship towing operations. At the aft section of Deck 11 is the ventral phase cannon, providing defensive firepower for the ship's rear sector. Just ahead are the tractor beam's subspace field initiator and the tractor beam system, used for towing and recovery operations. In the midsection, the deck houses the plasma coolant tank and coolant regulation pumps, maintaining stable engine temperatures. The first level of main engineering occupies the center, anchored by the main reactor control console. Adjacent is the reactant accelerator for antimatter control. At the front, Deck 11 includes the main deflector dish and deflector beam generator for navigational shielding. The forward side airlock is located nearby for deck access. The front of Deck 12 is Level 2 of the refit hull computer core and transporter Bay 2, used for personnel and cargo transfer. In the midsection, the deck includes 4 lifeboats, each capable of carrying up to 6 passengers for emergency evacuation. This area also contains 2 life support system units and the antimatter stabilization matrix, ensuring environmental stability and core safety during operations. Toward the rear are the antimatter conditioner and the water storage tank, supporting engine operations and shipboard environmental systems. At the front of Deck 13 is the forward sensor array for scanning and navigation. Behind it are the officers' quarters, providing accommodations for senior crew. Mid-deck contains the first level of the refit hull computer core and the transport pattern buffer supporting transporter operations. Also located in this section is the officers' lounge for senior crew recreation. Toward the rear is the Subspace Mechanics Lab, supported by 2 additional life support systems to maintain environmental stability. Deck 14 is the lowest level of the secondary hull, supporting critical storage and crew operations. At the back is the antimatter containment storage bay, followed by the antimatter storage monitoring room, ensuring containment safety for the ship's warp fuel reserves. Mid-deck holds the sensor data processing lab. At the front are the enlisted crew quarters, arranged in compact bunk-style layouts. Each crew member is provided with a personal sleeping area, a small storage locker, and shared access to nearby sanitation facilities, offering basic comfort during long-duration missions. Enterprise NX-01 remains one of the most important ships in Starfleet history, a vessel that proved deep space exploration was possible and laid the foundation for everything that came after. The original ship's design reflected the earliest days of Starflight, rugged, practical, and ready for anything. The proposed refit would have expanded those capabilities, bringing NX-01 closer in line with the advanced designs that would later define the Federation's golden age. Every deck, system, and upgrade tells the story of a ship and a crew that dared to step into the unknown and build the future one mission at a time. If you'd like to learn more about the NX-01 refit, including detailed blueprints, you can find the link in the description below. I also post regularly on X, where I share content on topics like Star Trek, Star Wars, sci-fi films, and other science fiction universes. So if you'd like to check out my daily posts, feel free to stop by and take a look. What do you think about the NX-01 refit? Would you have liked to see it brought to life on screen? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.